Just based on my setup,
Mm,
this is a little bit maybe thrifty, a little
mm.
bit ad hoc. I have a 4G router connected to my laptop, which is going through an Ethernet cable, which is very short. So I put the 4G router in the best place where I am right now to get the best signal, and so I'm kind of just on the floor next to the couch with my one headphone, as I've mentioned to you. So when my battery runs out, I'll have to replace it with my other headphone, if it does, but hopefully not.
Oh,
And everything is going to run smoothly.
well, you know what? That connection you have is perfect because Which Way Up is a four-player local co-op game. I know how to do segues. So before we get sidetracked on random stuff, what is Which Way Up, and yeah, generally, what is the premise of the game, and why would someone want to play it?
Which Way Up is a multiplayer party game. It's for 2 to 4 players. I have a little sticker here if it decides to not go blurry.
Ooh, that's nice.
I think we were giving these away at
I
AVCon as
I
well,
don't
so
think I
maybe
got
you
a
were able to
sticker.
pick one up yourself. But the game is it's inspired by Super Mario Galaxy, which is a game that I've always really loved and held close to my heart. It's I really loved the feel of the gravity mechanics, being able to kind of long jump around planets and then kind of float around. And I just wanted to prototype that at some stage. After I prototyped that, I was inspired by another developer friend, colleague of mine, who made a game called Boomerang Fu,
Mhm.
which is a multiplayer party game. And he's an amazing friend of mine who's given me lots of advice. And so I thought I would try to make something somewhat similar in the party game genre, but with this kind of gravity mechanic.
Mhm.
So the game is a collection of mini games, if you like, or I refer to them as, we refer to them as galaxy games. I
Mhm.
don't really love using the term mini game
Mhm.
because I kind of think that they're a little bit more than that. When you talk about mini games, people think about Mario Party,
Mhm.
which are extremely bite-sized, and sometimes those mini games are just spamming A or something like that, or ruining your palm with a joystick.
Mhm.
So yeah, we're releasing this game, Which Way Up, Galaxy Games, with 12 Galaxy games,
Mhm.
and you'll be able to kind of play with your friends across random mini games across multiple rounds to see who is the best at doing various things in space.
I don't recall all of the games that were present. I don't know if I even played all of them, but I do remember there was the Infinite Runner, where there's like the black hole that's slowly getting bigger behind you and eventually takes up basically the entire screen, and you can knock people back into it. And I think it's like if someone is knocked out twice, then they're out of. Yeah, I think it's twice. Correct me if I'm wrong there, but once they've fallen back twice, then
That's right.
they can no longer get a point for that round. There was the golf mini game or the golf galaxy game, the where you had to basically knock the ball around the planet, and the planets would have like a gravity around them, would like go around, and you wouldn't get into the hole. There was the one where there was like bombs, where you had to knock the bombs onto the other people's planet, and if it stayed on there by the time the timer ran out, you get a point. There was the soccer game where you were trying to hit the balls into the your goal so you could get an additional point. And what other games were there? I know it might be hard to rattle all of them off your head, and you're probably going to forget that some of them exist. But yeah, what
Mm,
other ones were there that might be of interest?
Yeah. Can I screen share a little visual? Is that gonna
You can
ruin
try.
anything?
I'm not sure what will happen to my overlay.
Let's see what happens if everything breaks.
Okay. Um, I will just, yeah, it's we'll make it work. Uh, yeah, okay, we're seeing we got it here. Cool. I'll fix it up afterwards.
I can always send you a little screenshot
No,
later.
no, I got it on the
Um,
I got it on the thing now.
okay, so I thought I would provide a little visual aid. We've got these little kind of video game cartridge
Mhm.
slash cards that we've been developing the visuals on. This wasn't in the game when you were at AVCon, but we're going to be putting it into the game soon. So there are 12 little cartridges, we're calling them.
Mhm.
And so you mentioned an infinite runner. So that's kind of like running away from a black hole. That's called Event Horizon. So that's second from the left. I'll go left to right. How
Yeah,
about
that's probably the
that?
easiest.
So I'll start again. Constellation Catch is furthest from the left. Constellation Catch is kind of like a King of the Hill type mode where there are a bunch of stars all over the map. And what you're doing is it's kind of like it's a game to test your platforming skills. So you have to go around, collect a star. Once you collect it, it starts a timer from about 9 seconds to count down. And once that timer goes down, you get the point for that star, and the star turns into a little constellation. We put in real constellations all over the map, so it kind of transforms into a constellation. The way you play it is that you try to steal people's star before their constellation gets caught. So you're constantly chasing people around, changing stars back from other people's colors, and protecting your own. So it's like a territory war, almost inspired by Splatoon. Event Horizon, like I said, it's pretty self-explanatory. You just try to survive, run to the right of the screen. We find that people seem to be they find that quite an intuitive game. So there's not much to explore or explain. I
There's
think
also
people
the
play
like
it
the ice
either.
asteroids that you can like slip around and that like become harder to jump
Yeah,
off of. Yeah.
yeah, we've got all sorts of kind of like mechanics throughout the game. Like you said, slippery planets just make you slide around really quickly. And then there's like bouncy planets, which are made out of jelly. And then there's also like little springy planets, which kind of just interact with the force with which you land on them. So yeah, in this game, you either just keep running to the right, or you can kind of push your friends into the black hole. It depends how mean you want to be to your friends. Uh, Next mini game is Gravipult. Gravipult is kind of like protecting your base. So there are little bombs all over the map that you have to go around and pick up. You can only hold one bomb at a time. And what you do is you throw a bomb at another person's planet. It has a little timer on it, so people can defend their planet by knocking the bombs off. But if the bomb goes off, then the person who threw it gets a point. So you're defending your own planet and attacking other people's planets with bombs. Common Collect is inspired by Rocket League, except we kind of call it reverse soccer. So we wanted to be able to kind of have a soccer game that's not team based. We'd love to actually implement teams in general to have like a team round, but just based on the variety of the games and the mechanics we're doing, we just haven't gotten around to it yet. So, Comic Collect at the moment, you kind of push these or hit these soccer balls using your little kind of comet push ability into your own kind of little area. So it's like you're collecting them. You're collecting these little asteroids or stars.
That's one of the ones where I noticed that there was a bit of confusion every time I played with new people. Like I played, I don't know, like probably like 10, maybe like 5 different runs of this, like throughout like an entire game, different people every time. Whenever that one came up, I noticed a lot of people, they understood it was soccer, but they didn't understand they were supposed to get it into their goal. They were trying to get into other people's goals, and I'm sure if it did it say in like the when you go into like the each game, there's like a pre thing that tells you like the rules of like how it works. Does it mention in there that you're supposed to go into your goal, or is that people just not reading?
Yes, well, first of all, people don't read.
That's
Yes, that's definitely something we've noticed from playtesting, and I think it's a general UX thing, user experience design rule. But yeah, it's a problem that we have with this game mode, and it's tricky because I wouldn't mind changing the mechanics so that you defend your own goal and score in others, but I think the dynamic that it created in terms of scoring was just not as desirable as the other one, as the current way that it works. So it's something that we'll probably keep looking at, and it's a good question to kind of say that the whole process for our game is very iterative. Like we're constantly taking it to playtesting events, and every kind of mini game, like we have this kind of bar graph, is constantly in our minds going up and down in terms of their relative quality
Mhm.
or how they're performing or various problems. So it's kind of hard to juggle. It's almost like spinning plates.
Right.
There's always going to be one that's like the worst or has the most bugs or isn't as fun, and
Mhm.
they vary a fair bit in terms of their gameplay. Siri is listening to me. Sorry. Um, so yeah. Anyway, I think um, that one actually is also a little bit tricky for people to pick up, but something that we like to balance is that a lot of the games are really easy to pick up and really kind of easy to master, and there isn't much of a kind of skill gap, I suppose. But we've also wanted to have mini games that are the other way, that they still have a large skill gap and are difficult to kind of get quite good at. So
Mhm.
in my mind, Comet Collect is one of those where if you play a lot, you can actually get quite good.
Mhm.
So yeah, and it was one of the first mini games that we created, so I kind of hold it close to my heart,
Right.
and I enjoy it quite a bit. So yeah, shall I continue?
Yeah, yeah, keep going. We got plenty of time. I definitely want to go through all of them.